Hello everyone. Welcome to the 7th lesson of the CrowPanel Pico HMI display tutorial. In this session, I'm going to show you how to create a lamp control interface using Squareline Studio and display it on CrowPanel. The process will be divided into 3 parts: designing the UI, exporting the UI, and modifying the button actions. If you haven't installed Squareline Studio yet or are not familiar with its usage, please first go through the content of the previous lesson. Without further ado, let's dive into my demonstration. I haven't prepared the code specifically for this lesson, but we can directly use the code from the previous lesson. Find the code from lesson 6, copy it all into lesson 7, and make sure to delete all the UI files. As I mentioned in the last lesson, we're replacing the UI, and all we need to do is swap out the exported UI file, just like changing the picture inside a frame. The code unrelated to the UI can be thought of as the frame itself. Now let's open Squareline Studio and start designing the lamp control interface. I won't go through the process of creating a Squareline Studio project again. If you're still unsure, please refer to the previous lesson for a detailed explanation. After creating it, I'd like to start by adding an image to make the interface more visually appealing. In the Widgets section, locate the image widget. Click to add it to the screen. Then in the Inspector panel, you'll find the Asset option, where you can select the image you want to display. However, it's currently empty with no options. So we need to first add the image to the Assets panel. Click Add File into Asset. Select the desired image, ADs. You can choose multiple, but for now, I'm only using one, so I'll add just that. The image will now appear in the Assets panel, and you can select it to display in the Image widget. After adding, adjust the display position to leave some space for adding control buttons. For these buttons, I want to make them unique. Let's start by changing the color to yellow. Next, reshape it to be closer to a circle on the screen. Of course, it also needs a label to indicate its current state. To make the label content more prominent, I'll change the text color to black. Since the lamp is off by default when the CrowPanel is powered on, the text content will default to off. And set blend opacity to 80. We see that the transparency sends a change. After all the work is done, we click on the Run button to see the effect. When the button is clicked, the color of the button changes. Next, we add an event to the button. Trigger conditions, select Released. Action, select Call Function, and then click the ADD button. Here we can enter the name of the function, here named Lamp Part Event. After all the work is done, set the directory for the project output as before, and then set the directory for the UI file output. Then enter elf-gel. Again, select up here and confirm the settings. Finally, export the UI file. Go back to the UI file location and copy the exported UI file to the main program file. Open the main program. You will modify the sample code. The sample code in this lesson is the same as the code in lesson 6. The functions that execute the UI program are already included. Therefore, you only need to make sure that you use the display and touch drivers that correspond to your particular board. In this example, we are using the display and touch drivers for a 4.3-inch board, which corresponds to the board I am currently using. We start to modify the button program, which mainly modifies the lamp event function. This function is in the UI events C file. Into the UI events C file. You can see that this code has been generated here. We need to enter the execution of the big code can be. First of all, the lamp flag judgment. If the condition is established, then set the basic state of the button. Here, you can copy the previous code. Button text settings are similarly copied over. And set lamp flag to 0. If the condition does not hold, copy the previous code and then set the transparency of the button to 255, the text setting to on, and set the lamp flag to 1. After the state of the button is set, we also have to control the lamp on and off here. When the condition is valid, set lamp low, otherwise set it high. The pin for lamp is defined here as pin 28. Again, this needs to be declared in UI.h. Then set the lamp pin to output in the main program. Use the functions related to the pin in UI.h and include the Arduino IDE library here. Also, lamp flag needs to be declared as an integer and assign the value 0. All the code that needs to be changed has been completed and is ready to start downloading the program. Connect the screen using the USB cable. Select Elecrow CrowPanel RP2040 DVI. Then open Tool and select the corresponding serial port. Click Download. After downloading successfully, press the reset button to run the program. When we click the screen button, the lamp will switch on and off. That's it for this lesson. If you find this series of tutorials helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.